Hey friends, it's Chris from Protect Young Eyes, and welcome to this week's Tech News and Trends for May 8th, 2024. This is where Isaac and we go out, we look at all the news that's related to technology, and then we ask ourselves what's pertinent to families. And we want to do that for you so that you can focus on raising your amazing kids and applying this information to the digital spaces where they're spending time. And in some cases, maybe even deciding to delay because of the information that we share with you, because you know your kids best. Looking at notes today, gosh, it looks like we have 6 things that we want to share with you. We're not going to talk about the tornado that hit Michigan last night. That was freaky. But we want to talk about 6 things with you that are important in tech news today. So here we go. Number 1 here in the news is Arturo Bejar recently shared his retirement letter from Meta on John Haidt's Substack. He's the author of The Anxious Generation, John is, and the name of his Substack, which is where he does a lot of writing and others do writing, is called After Babel. Now, Arturo was a consultant for Meta who was looking at harms to children. And he gathered data internally. He gathered data even from his own daughter who was on the platform. And he found that 13% of teens ages 13 to 15 were receiving unwanted sexual content in Instagram. And this all happened within a week. He shared this information internally with leadership, with Sheryl Sandberg, the former head of YouTube, Adam Mosseri, the current head of Instagram, Chris Cox, who's the chief product manager there at Meta, and also with Mark Zuckerberg himself. And all of them responded. They didn't do much. They at least acknowledged the data and were concerned about it, except Mark. Mark is the only one who didn't respond, which I wish this guy would just even pretend to care about kids. Because here's the bottom line. Instagram, all these platforms, they could stop all of this with existing technology right now. Instagram is already proving to us that they know when young people send nude photos to each other, and yet they don't stop it. So the bottom line is this, friends, companies aren't going to change fast enough. The government isn't going to do anything fast enough. It's really up to us as parents and caregivers to decide what's best for our kids and decide where they need to be spending time online. We think delay is still the way, no social media until age 16, but ultimately the decision is up to you. Number 2, Google is now going to prohibit ads that include content generated by AI that is deepfake and pornographic in nature. And this is good. Up until this point, Google's ad policies have not said anything about synthetic content, but that's all about to change on May 30th, where their advertising policies are now going to prohibit all apps that help generate deepfake pornography and this is good too, websites that give instructions to people for how to create deepfake technology or deepfake pornographic and explicit content. Now, we wish other places would catch up. Meta still has advertising on Facebook and Instagram for deepfakes and ways to create it. Apple and their app store still has way too many apps that allow kids to create deepfake pornography of each other. They need to do something about that. And parents, we also need to do something. And so we've written a post that give you 15 steps you can do, things you can do in your home to wrap and hopefully protect your kids in different layers here. If you're reading this or watching this on social media, you can check that out on the link, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find that in the description below. Number 3, as promised last week, TikTok CEO Xiao Chu is challenging the constitutionality of the law recently signed by President Biden here in the US that would require TikTok to either divest or be banned. He's citing constitutional grounds, right? First Amendment, that free speech is being infringed upon. But then we have this tension with national security. So we're sure this is going to be a long legal battle. It'll go all the way to the Supreme Court. I'm not sure what's going to happen. We can't control that. But what we can control, friends, is TikTok in our homes. I believe TikTok is the app that parents probably underestimate the most in terms of its corrosive impact on kids. I want us to be so, so careful with this app. Even with all the parental controls enabled, parents be involved, monitor the content that they're watching, and have ridiculously open and frequent conversations. Number 4, Wall Street Journal author Kathrine Bindley. She fasted from her phone during Lent, which is that 40 or so days right before Easter practiced by Christians. And then she wrote an article about what she experienced. And she said the results were clear and astounding. Here's a quote from the article. She said, "The results were astounding." There, I said it again. "I got better sleep. I was more productive at work. My brain felt calmer with all the reading and writing that I did. The old me was back in full force." Parents, that should be a signal to us, especially as summer here is rolling around. Let's decrease the screens. Let's put the devices away. Let's kick our kids outside because there is still not one study on earth that says that lower screen time harms us at all. In fact, psychologists and counselors will tell you that the most well-adjusted humans generally are those that use their screens the least. So let's get outside and enjoy the sunshine. Number 5, Twitch is an app that a lot of parents know nothing about, but a ton of kids use. It's a live streaming platform that is often used by gamers who want to live stream their gameplay, but now it's being used as a news source. With so many people being so skeptical about the news and what's being reported and the bias that's in that, there are individuals like Brett Hamilton who now is using Twitch as a way to live stream news, and he's doing it with amazing success, and thousands of people are tuning into his streams. For example, he was at UCLA during the recent protests related to the war in Israel, and literally thousands of people are watching him real time as he's walking around the protest. So parents, we need to be aware of this as a way that kids can be consuming content. You might think, oh, they're just watching games. It could be so much more than that. It's live, so you're not getting anything filtered. It's all raw. We've done a full review of Twitch so you can understand it better, decide if it's good for your kids or not. You can read it in the description, or you can read it by tapping the link. And finally, number 6, years ago, friends, you might remember that Finstas were quite popular. These were fake Instagram accounts, and they weren't always used for bad things. Sometimes kids just wanted a more authentic, raw way to share accounts or to share photos with their closest friends. And it seems the same thing has popped up again, but now they have a different name, right? Just repackaged, and they're called photo dumps. These are photo dump accounts where kids will have a separate account, and it's different, more raw photos, unpolished, and they have just certain friends in there. Now, for the most part, this is nothing to be concerned about, but I do think it's important for parents to have really open conversations about the accounts that kids have on social media, that secrecy isn't a good thing. And parents, your commitment is not to freak out if you find out that your kid has a separate account. Just have open and honest conversations about it. State your expectations and don't freak out. We just want you to be informed. So there you go, friends. That is this week's tech news and trends for May 8th, 2024. You can subscribe and you can receive it every week when we do this. Stay in touch with us here at Protect Young Eyes, and we'll do our best to help you and your family create safer digital spaces. Take care.